All right, Hawks. Today's video is going to be focusing on continuing with our gauge block. I'm currently on Classroom and I've opened up the PDF example in Kami of our drawing. So up to date, we should have been using Fusion. And you can see here I've got a couple of different examples rolling. I'm going to close our flyout data panel. Previously we should have done a video on how to get our three-dimensional block sized initially, okay? And then we went and potentially had a video where we added these dado cuts, okay? And again, those were a cut using a sketch and a cut extrusion to create this low spot in our block. The goal of the video today is not to continue with the dado one, but is to actually talk about how to add angle cuts to our block. And if I go to our top orientation here, and let's rotate this around so it kind of looks like the example on Classroom, the example, right, or a PDF, which looks like this. Notice that we have a 75-degree angle on the left and an 85-degree angle on the right. Now, the tricky part about those dimensions is if it was a perpendicular cut, we would have a 90-degree corner. So technically, on the right-hand side here, we have a 5-degree cut, and that's what we would have to set up our miter saw to cut at a 5-degree angle here. And we have a 15-degree angle here on the left. As again, 75 from 90 leaves us 15. Okay? So with that in mind, I'm going to be working with the flat block first, because I'm going to show you two different ways where we can create these angles. Okay? So first one, we should have our timeline down here. Oh boy. Let's bring that back. Come on, software. All right. So we have our timeline. And if we go back and look at the sketch from our timeline, this is where we have the ability, let me close this up. This is where we have our ability to control our sizes. So previously, we probably did this at like 13 by 4. If you have not adjusted this to our final dimensions, according to our example drawing, okay, we should have a 12-inch long or 12-inch length at the bottom, okay, and a 3 1/4 inch width, okay. So if you haven't already made those changes, if we had a different number, we can always select a dimension, okay. So I just double-click on it, and if it was at 4, you can see that it automatically adjusts our sketch. So if it's at 4 right now, we want to make it 3.5, actually 3.25, okay. Again, if we had done this at 13 initially, our finished length is going to be 12, okay? Now, again, this is our sketch, and if we finish that sketch, if there were changes in the size, this object should update, and if you don't have the correct extrusion height, you see here it's 1 1/4. Let's go back to our example, and we have 1 1/4 here, okay? So again, we want to make sure our block's in the correct size, and if it's not, we can always go back and change it later. That's the great thing about the parameters that Fusion allows us to modify. Now, as far as putting those angle cuts in, there's two different ways to do this. The first one is we can go back to the sketch where we created this rectangle shape, and I can actually end up changing the left side here and the right side here. Now the problem that we might run into is if you created this with a square or a rectangle, right? If we use the rectangle command, these two sides are initially going to be constrained. And we can see the constraints with these little symbols here. And we may not have talked about constraints too much, but again, at the top of our Fusion window, these are all the different constraints, and these are like rules that the information that we're creating has to follow. Okay, those along with our dimensions, the dimensions are going to create our shape. So if at some point in time we wanted to get rid of a constraint, I can select it, and if I hit delete, you'll notice that that little symbol, which I selected, and I'll do it over here again. I'll right-click on that little icon, and it probably is a vertical, horizontal constraint icon. I'll right-click on it, and there's a delete option, and I can delete that. Okay. Now, the downside to that is right now, you notice how we have the left line here and the right line. They are no longer black. In fact, even this top line, once I move that, let me undo that. Top line is also not fully constrained. So a fully constrained sketch is going to be all black lines. It means that nothing can move. So when I got rid of those two constraints, it's changed things. So what I could potentially do is I'm going to get a dimension here. And I'm going to do a dimension between this bottom line and this side line. So I left-clicked on the bottom line, left-clicked on this side line, and you can see now I'm getting a dimension. So if I left this at 90 and I hit enter, you'll notice how, because this line, this vertical line, is constrained on an angle and we have dimension, not only did this line turn back to black, but the top line also turned back to black. Okay? So in this example, we are going to take a look at the fact that the left side has got a 15-degree angle, and that's from 90. Okay, so we can change the dimension on Fusion from 75 to 90, and that should get us that 15-degree angle. So I'm going to select that dimension since I already had it in. I'm going to double click on it. I'm going to make it 75, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, now the downside to this is this dimension is now on an angle, which means that it's probably not the correct size. So I'm going to get rid of that dimension very quickly, and I'm going to go and do a different dimension. That's going from the top edge to the bottom edge, and you notice how that is not 3.25. So I'm going to change that dimension location. So notice when I move that angle, that dimension changed. It went onto an angle to be aligned with that line. Since that line is now would have to be longer to get to this distance, I did a different dimension between edges. Okay, so we have a 15-degree angle over here on the left, and over here on the right, if we do a similar deal, we'll go between one side and the other, and in this case, we're going to make this 85. And now I should have a slight angle there on the left. Okay, so if I go ahead and finish that sketch, our three-dimensional block should now reflect that change. Okay, so that is one way, and for some of you, maybe that is challenging because kind of going in and adjusting a sketch, it can be time consuming, and sometimes there may be other constraints at work depending on how you've drawn things. It can become problematic. Okay, so what I'm going to do here as another example is let's go and let's see. I got the demo V1. I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to go back a step, and let's see if I go back to number 4. Maybe I don't want to do that. I'm just trying to think what I want to do here. If I make this and open it, you'll see I've got this gauge block. Notice there's a little lock on it. Okay, it's basically saying because I've got a newer version, I might be able to change some things here. It might not like them because it's locked. Okay, so maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I'll come over here to this file. Let's get rid of the one with the datum, and notice I've got all these versions. All the versions. It's every time I save the file. I physically either go up to the save icon disk or I do Control S on my keyboard. I'm saving what the software is doing. And a lot of times it'll ask you to give it a name. If you don't give it a name, it's going to have a version history. And you can see I've got a couple other ones here with some options. So I got this DV1. I'm going to close this one down. Okay, and let's look at another way. And let's open up this gauge block. Okay. Now I'm going to go back into my sketch, and I want to check, and you notice that it is still, in fact, sorry, shouldn't have clicked on that. All right, escape. Come on, Fusion. What are we doing? Okay. Whoa. There's my sketch. Thank you very much. computer's working a little funky right now. So hit escape a couple times. It's not liking whatever it is I'm doing. But we can see here that it is 3 1/4 by 12. Right, so I'm going to finish that sketch, and let's go and take a look here, and I'm going to look at the extrusion thickness, if this will work for me. And let's get into a 3-dimensional orientation, and that is at 1 1/4. So this is a correct size as we currently sit. Okay, I'm going to do a file save as, and I'm just going to call this one gauge block. This is Castify. I'm doing the demo in Screencastify, so I'm going to save it as that. Okay, so it's going to. The benefit to doing this is I'm going to have all these different files at different points. Now, this is probably going to be a little complicated if it's your first time through Fusion, so you don't want to have all these different versions. You just have one file. But I have this gauge block Castify, so I can mess with this one and hopefully not affect others. And I'm going to put it into the orientation that will kind of match our example on Classroom. Okay, so the other way that we can add features, or in this case remove features, because we want to get rid of these square corners, is I'm going to work with another sketch. And the first thing you have to do when I'm working with an additional sketch is, what surface do I want to sketch on? Well, this top surface for me is looking pretty good. When I'm looking at that top surface, let's get it in the orientation, I can imagine that I'm going to have the 75-degree angle here on the left, and the 5-degree or 85-degree angle here on the right. So the other way, and again, you may find this one easier, it kind of depends on how you've made things, but they're both viable or reasonable ways to get to the end product, is we're going to create a sketch. And I'm going to go up to the sketch, create a sketch option, and I'm going to sketch on this top surface. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to go back into a 3D view, because maybe it'll help you understand that I can select any of these surfaces to sketch upon, but I'm going to sketch on this top surface. So I'm going to select that top surface while I have sketch, create sketch selected, and when I do that, it's going to change my orientation, and it's going to put me back into that sketch mode where I'm seeing that grid pattern. And now I need to create a shape. And that shape that I want to work on, I'm going to reference a known corner of our object, right about there. I'm going to bring this line out at an angle. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the size that it is right now, and I'm just going to kind of make this shape. And what I want to do now is I want to constrain this line. Okay, I want to constrain this line with an angle. So I'm going to get the angle dimension, and hopefully it will see this bottom edge of the surface that we're sketching on. If you don't see that line, it's kind of highlighting, and I don't know if that's coming up on the video. If I escape here, there's an edge right there of our object, and if that's not showing up, we should be able to go to the Create menu, and we have this Project, Include, and we can project information like that surface there, or that whole surface. So we should be able to see some of that information. So I'm going to go ahead and project that geometry, and now you can see I've got 4 corners, right? So again, you might be able to see that without projecting geometry, but that might be beneficial as well. But I want to align or dimension that angle. So I'm going to use this bottom edge and that angle line, and we want that to be 75 degrees. Okay. Now, I'm not concerned with this top line here or this other line over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end up creating a shape from this, and we're going to extrude that shape, and then we're going to use it to remove the material that's overlapping out of our existing object. Okay. So I just finished our sketch, and we're going to take a look at this plane, right? So you can see that there's a plane here, and I want to now extrude cut. So I'm going to go up to the extrude command, and I'm going to select, in this case, I could just select that surface there, but I'm going to select it all just because, and I'm going to do a couple of things. Okay, so one, I have this arrow, and it's trying to say, hey, do you want to extrude that up? Well, that's not what I want to do. What I actually want to do is I want to extrude this down, and you'll see here, when I did that, it went and changed the operation here. It was join or maybe new body. New body is sometimes problematic. But we're going to, instead of joining things together, we're going to cut. All right, and if I do cut and I hit OK, you'll see it's removed that material. Okay. So now we have that angle cut there. And again, the timeline down here in the bottom left, if I didn't like the way that looked, I could move the timeline one step back. There is my vertical edge. One step forward, there is the sketch cut that I used to create that angle. Okay, let's do it one more time, because again, you could either go back to the initial sketch where we added the angles in before we extruded the object, or maybe we decided later that we want to do that function in a different order. I'm going to get a sketch again, okay, and I could have done this cut on the left and the cut on the right at the same time, but let's do a new sketch. New sketch. We're going to, again, project geometry, that surface. I'm going to start a line on this bottom left corner. I'm going to drag it up at an angle, and then it doesn't necessarily matter what I leave beyond that, because I'm really only concerned about this line. Okay, and again, some people might want to trace around here. Because I'm going to use this to cut, I'm not worried about the extra stuff, because I'm really only worried about what it's doing here on the existing block. And I'm going to get a dimension. And you notice I'm going between the angled line and the bottom surface. I could potentially go between this vertical surface and this angled line. So again, it kind of depends on maybe the way your brain's thinking about stuff. And if I only want a 5-degree angle, because I want 85 here, I'm going to say finish that sketch. And we'll do this again. We'll do an extrude cut. So I just got to make sure that I get all what they call profiles. I want both of the little inside piece there, and if I'm so inclined, I get the outside piece at the same time. And we're going to tell it to make a cut. Notice how, again, the operation changed. We'll say OK. And we should now have an object that is the correct size, or our desired finished size, which is 12 inches long, 3.5 inches across, and 1.25 inches thick. And now we have our two angled pieces on this side. Okay. Thanks a bunch. Catch you on the next video.